It's the train wreck mentality with us, yeah. 3, 2, 1. 1. Yo, yo, yo. What is good, Gen Nation? ScytheX here, and I got some special guests with me, and we got One Shot and Spartacris. Say what's up. Yes, sir. Sparta 1K. We will get to that in a second. We appreciate everybody jumping in, listening live on YouTube, live on Podbean, if you're joining us on Podbean. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We got a few things to go over in entertainment, and I'm glad you guys are with me on this one, because we're going to talk about a little milestone we hit just today, actually, a couple hours ago, I should say. And with the gaming, when we get to gaming, we're going to talk about Pokemon struggling on the Nintendo Switch, our thoughts on Warzone. So that'll kind of lean towards me and One Shot. We got God of War. That'll be me and Spartacris. And then I know One Shot had some opinions on the nominations for Game Awards. So I can't wait for that segment. So we got a lot to talk about, and we'll get through it. But real quick, I just want to say there was a milestone hit, and we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you are watching us on YouTube, you'll see that number under our name, and yeah, that happened today. And there's nobody else that we can't thank more than you guys for jumping in all of our projects, whether it's this show, Theater Room, our reactions, our gaming streams, like everything. Yeah, so just real quick, I just want to say thank you to everyone involved, and thank you to my GGEN crew for grinding it out with me, as well as the others that are not on here with us. And yeah, I want to get your thoughts on it. Spartacris, if you want to go first.
So I'm pretty excited. I got my drink ready, and anyone who's struggling out there on YouTube, just keep pushing. You'll get there.
Hell yeah.
It is a grind. It is 100% a grind.
Yep.
And I mean, it's just awesome to finally see. But we can thank Chris for, I don't know what, 4, 5, 6 months of just
At least,
holding us on your back.
Hey, I was just doing my part. You know what I'm saying?
I will push back, because who am I if I'm not pushing back, right? I will push back.
God.
No, I will say Chris did. He helped keep the train moving when a lot of us were falling back on some things, and yeah, he definitely was helping us get over the hump of the bad times, quote unquote. But yeah, once we all started clicking. Group, you know? Yeah, once we all started clicking, it might not be a well-oiled machine, but at least there's some oil in it, and we're firing.
Yeah. That's a good it's a good way to say it. Not well oiled, but it's oiled.
It's oiled.
It just took us a little bit to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. But you know, it's gonna take everyone to get to that point. You got to start somewhere, right? And our whole conversations, all the conversations we had when we started were, why not us? And this is basically the beginning of that mantra, essentially coming true. You know what I mean? Coming full circle. So
absolutely,
thank you to everyone who supports any of the channels. Even if you don't watch every single thing, but any little bit helps. So we all appreciate that for sure.
100%. Yeah, yeah, that's perfectly well said. Doesn't matter where you're watching us or what you're watching. We're just happy you're here, so we appreciate it. Yeah, so we're just gonna get into, I guess, the entertainment verse. But before we do that, I just want to say we are live on Podbean, so thank you very much for joining us on there. And as far as the podcasts go altogether, we are on all the major platforms: Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Google, iHeart, you know, all the heavy hitters. So if you're looking for us, search GGEN in whatever app you tend to use, and we'll pop up. You'll see our logo, and easily accessible, perfect for commutes to work or leaving work. So it's definitely a good way. What's up?
Let me interject here, which we can give you a lot of credit for that, because you've really held us down on the podcast.
Oh yeah,
actual portion of a Podbean and all that, Apple.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where to
give you a lot of credit on that. I don't fuck with that.
It ain't easy, I will say that, but we got it done, so that's all that matters. We're trying to get our content to everyone's ear, no matter where it is. So that's the goal, and that will always be our goal. So we're not going away. Just because we hit a milestone, that just means we're going to push harder. So
exactly,
get used to us. That's for sure. But so yeah, we do have merch available. Speaking of pushing harder, and we do have merch available. The link will be in the description of the YouTube video or podcast episode description as well. If you want to jump in, we got hoodies, shirts, all kinds of things. I think I just added a beanie. I think there's a new beanie on there for the winter time. We got a new zip up hoodie up there. So there's a couple things for you'll be geared for the cold. Be ready for the cold. So check us out on the store. And with that, you guys ready to talk some entertainment stuff?
Always.
Hell yes.
Perfect. Because first up, we have the Spider-Verse, brought to you by Sony and Amazon Prime. I know we're probably going to dig into this on the theater room a little bit more, but Spartacris, have you seen what's been going on or said about the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I hate to be a hater. I don't want to. I want to be excited for anything comic book related, for anything Marvel related. You know what I mean? But Sony just doesn't inspire excitement from me with their products. You know, Morbius, while it had its fun moments, was garbage. It's very well known for the over 1,000 of you now that have seen any of our previous conversations about this. I am not a fan of Tom Hardy's Venom. I like Tom Hardy as an actor, but just the movies themselves, I think, are just trash. So for them to continue to push into this Spider-Verse, for me, it's more of kind of like a slap in the forehead. Like, can you just let Marvel do it? Versus, come on, like, I'm excited. You know what I mean? So, you know, I want to listen. More comic book properties is great, but I wish it was someone else. Sony doesn't know what they're doing, and I don't have any excitement for where they're taking the storylines.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think. Like, a part of me is excited for more of that type of content coming to us, and then at the same time, it's like, yeah, well, it's coming from Sony. It's not coming from Marvel. Exactly. So it's like, what are we gonna get? And just a thought of like a full blown universe outside of the MCU trying to exist in Sony's weird world is just gonna, I don't know. Right. I feel like it's just gonna crash and burn unless they get some sort of assistance from Marvel and some sort of like cooperation deal that they have to use each other's, you know, characters.
That's I agree. That's my thing. If I heard that Feige was kind of masterminding it, all right, maybe I'd be a lot more excited. Yeah. But that's not what I'm hearing. So that scares me.
Like if you really want this Spider-Verse to take off and like really take off, you would have an MCU character pop in there, and that I feel like that would just blow people's minds. Like, oh, freaking the Hulk is in, you know, the new Spider-Man show or whatever. Like it would draw so many more eyes to it than people going, it's just another Sony thing. It has nothing to do with what we really care about, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll see. But the first up is Silk. I don't know much about this character, but apparently she was bit by the same spider that bit Peter Parker. So
I mean, in the end, they all have this. This is my concern though. Besides Miles Morales, the rest of them, while they have good personalities, good storylines, stuff like that in the comics, as far as translating it to the movies, there's not as much of a difference. You know what I mean? So, you know, okay, great. You know, Sony can't do Spider-Man as well as Marvel can.
Right.
And we still have not gotten a Miles Morales film. So to me, going with Silk first and announcing her and all that stuff is such a weird direction already. And that's to me the first step that they're going to screw up the property.
Is it gonna, like, because we all know that they're creating some sort of Madame Web movie. They're already filming it, you know. Is this show gonna be a product of what happens from that movie? I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
I guess that's, to me, that's the other thing. The transparency. This is, I think, what DC is kind of learning now with James Gunn, and this is where I feel like a lot of other companies that wanted shared universes are not getting this lesson right. But tell us, like, let us know. We shouldn't
show us the roadmap. Yeah,
right. You know, and Kevin Feige has proven that you can show us the roadmap. You can keep plenty of surprises, and even if you flat out tell us that Avengers or Civil War storyline is coming 6 years from now, the excitement just is elevated to ridiculous levels versus ruining that excitement. So the fact that Sony and Marvel haven't come out to flat out say this is the long-term goal and we're just dealing with rumors, you know, it's just more mistakes essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of following in the blueprints that work.
I agree. I'm curious to see what other spider-like shows we get, but you know, it'd be a cool show if they gave us like Scarlet Spider or the Spider-Man 2099, something futuristic, something out there that we know is not involved with whatever's happening currently, and it just kills that possibility from the start because we know 100%. It's in the future, you know.
100%. But the one thing Sony knows what they're doing is the Spider-Verse, right? Not the Spider-Verse as a whole, Into the Spider-Verse and then Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
The animators, the people who work on those movies know how to handle it. So if you were to tell me that the Disney show, or I'm sorry, the Sony shows they're working on were being overseen by the people who did Into the Spider-Verse, I would be a lot more excited. But instead, it's different creative voices handling all these different properties to build a universe, and that does not work. We've seen that before. You need that cohesion.
I'm very, like I said, I'm gonna watch it because I need to see what it's about.
Well,
but
yeah, I mean,
I'm just
we're all dickheads, right? We're gonna watch.
We're gonna watch. It's just knowing that Sony's behind this project it's rough. It's rough because we know what they've produced.
Truthfully, I wish Sony would focus all their attention on producing their own first-party video game movies and TV shows, and just give the Marvel stuff. Work with Disney to give the Marvel stuff away. Let them handle it.
Keep the rights, but let them use it for a price. Like,
how have you not learned with Spider-Man that if you just let Disney / Marvel take over the marketing and the creation, all that stuff, and you handle, the creation and storylines, and you handle the marketing, you're going to make a massive amount of money, and you're going to do half the work. So it's like, it's mind-boggling.
You're doing the desk work while Marvel's doing all the legwork. Like
exactly.
It's such a win partnership for Sony that to try to compete with it in some fashion just doesn't make sense to me.
Makes no sense. And this whole confusing, like, well, we're going to give you Tom Holland just for a certain amount of movies while we build out our universe, but then we want him back. But when we take him back, we're going to give you something else to make you happy. It's just like, no, like, just sign on the dotted line, Sony. I'm not telling you to bow out and close as a company. Let Marvel handle the properties, and you just go, look, we'll pay for the commercials, and we'll distribute the movie.
Yep, 100%.
It's a win-win.
I agree. We'll see what happens, but that's coming to Amazon Prime, so we could do watch parties for that in the future.
That's a good idea.
Yes,
that's
sir.
That's a good idea right there.
So next up, I'll take the reins on this one. We have Titans episode 4. This is going to be a short review because it was not a very good episode. I generally like Titans. I know they're a little they're not true to who they really are. The show kind of they're not a CW show, but there's some aspects they try to like put in there where you're like, that could be on the CW. Like it's not as hardcore as you would want it to be. They'll throw in like an F-bomb here and there, you know what I mean? But it's just like, it could be better for it being on HBO.
So
with that being said, it's still enjoyable. Some of the storylines they tap into is fun, like seeing Robin transition into Red Hood and stuff like that, like, and seeing the Dick Grayson Robin become Nightwing, stuff like that to me was cool to watch. But this latest episode, it was like a bad version of The Walking Dead, and The Walking Dead has been bad for a long time.
But does that mean, do we know now if Titans matters in the DCU? In the James Gunn,
he hasn't really said much about the HBO side of things, other than he's redoing the Green Lantern. So
see that
Doom Patrol and Titans already existing and operating is kind of like and it's the same thing on the CW. They're canceling everything for one, but they're still trying to push Lois and Clark, which is a good show for what it is on the CW. But
yeah, I can agree with that.
It's just another weird CW show away from everything. Like there's no togetherness, or nothing's unified with DC, which drives me crazy because they have so many opportunities, which is a blessing that James Gunn is taking the reins on that. But yeah, episode 4 was nothing crazy. It was a weird Walking Dead zombie thing that they all had to fight, and it was just strange. It wasn't that good of an episode, to be honest. This season's been more on the weird side rather than a standard season-long story. I don't know what we're getting out of this season. But yeah, we're gonna move on from the Titans and jump to Sonic Prime. Did you guys see the trailer?
I did.
Okay, Steve, did you see it?
I'm a Sonic fan, so I'm into it.
Steve left the building.
Uh-oh. Steve's got mic problems. He's gonna break something in his
where's
room.
My train wreck GIF?
3, 2, 1.
I don't have
I got it, dude. I'm making it tonight. I'm telling you right now. I promise you.
I had one. Animation. I can't do it. God damn it.
So I'll take over for Steve then.
Hello?
Since,
there he is. There he is. Steve, did you see the trailer?
I haven't got a chance yet. No.
Okay.
I mean, all that just to say
I want to watch it.
God damn. All right, we'll start with you then, Spartacris. You saw the trailer. What did you think?
Let me preface this by saying I have very fond memories as a child with my brother playing Sega Genesis, Sonic 1 and 2, trying to finish those games. Back then, for all the youngins that are watching, there was no saving, or there was very little saving. You had to write passwords down. If you died and lost all your lives, you had to go right back to the very beginning, even if you were at the very last level.
Can I cut in for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if it was me that posted it or one of you or whoever it was in our private chat, but the video of Super Mario being able to continue where you left off. Did you see that video?
Blew my mind away. Blew my mind.
It actually
did see that.
It actually pissed me off when I saw that. I'm like,
I haven't tested it out. Like, I want to go. I'm gonna do it live on stream. I'm gonna stream on Twitch or something, and
you should
pull up Super Mario and just try that trick, because it would have saved me so much aggravation as a kid.
Dude, I can, not just Mario, but all those old games in general. You know how many times I've left the system on for days, knowing that 100%. When I can come back and play this thing, I need it to be where I left off, because that's the only way. That's my game save strategy, is leaving the console on for 4 days in a row or whatever.
100%. I did that over and over again. And when I saw that, I was blown away. I cannot believe that was a thing that nobody knew.
Yeah. Apparently, if you're trying to follow what we're saying, there was a button combination in Super Mario and maybe other games for all we know, where when you died and you thought you had to start from world 1, level 1, you can do a button combination and go back to to the beginning of the last world that you started. So if you died on level 7 of world 8, you would jump back to 8-1. but that's still better than 1-1.
But you know what though, it's also the same as like I don't know if you saw, not to get too off topic here, but
yeah,
if you saw Mike Tyson's Punch Out, how I think it was like last year or 2 years ago, one of the creators revealed that to fight like Tyson and some of these the tougher opponents, people in the crowd would make certain movements, take a picture or duck their head or whatever, and that was your cue to throw a punch. And if you did, you knocked them down immediately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to say Bald Bull 2 in particular was the big one where it was like, you know, he does his little move and he changes it up for the second fight, and there's a little person in the crowd that if you watch, he doesn't move at all, but the moment he ducks his head, you hit the punch button, you knock him down, and you could easily win 3 knockouts, match over, if you just watch that guy and survive until he ducks, basically. And it's tricks that we didn't even know. I played those games for, daily, and to your point, I left the system on, like, those things we didn't know, and we have survived this. But anyway, so going back to Sonic.
Yeah, I forgot we were talking about Sonic.
The reason why I even brought that up is because I'm biased. Because I've just been playing. I've played every Sonic game basically. I've been playing as a kid. It's just fond memories. So as much as the games have been bad, I continue to get excited every time a new game is announced, a new show is announced, all that stuff.
Frontier has been having a decent run, I would say.
Yeah, and I'm going to play that at some point. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give that the full experience.
Yeah.
But I like the movies. I like the focus on Sonic as this like multimedia kind of character. I think he's got the right personality for it. So the trailer looked childish, but you know, it's a cartoon basically, so it's gonna be for kids. Otherwise, it's got all the big players in there. The voices don't sound annoying. They didn't come up with a human version of Sonic like they did in the movie, like Sony tried to do, and then they changed it. So, you know, the trailer looked good to me. I'm in. The storyline seemed decent. You know what I mean? Everything looked good, you know, so I'm in. I thought the trailer was awesome.
For me, I agree. It looks awesome. It's childish. It's, I guess, meant to be as a cartoon, right. But I'm okay with that. But like you said, the sounds, him spinning and you know, attacking at full speed, you hear the game sounds, like it was well put together as far as a trailer goes. So it makes me excited for the show. The one thing that's really pissing me off about this show, and I don't know why it's pissing me off, but it's pissing me off, is the emphasis on calling Dr. Robotnik Eggman.
Well, why does that bother you?
I don't know. Like,
can you hear me?
Like yes, we hear you. Like, saying it once is, you know, as like a joke, I get it. Like, oh yeah, he's the Eggman. You know, he's shaped as an egg. Funny. But like, then they like go back to it, and then he's like, oh yeah, it's just an Eggman doing Eggman things. And it's like, all right, why do we keep saying it? Like they're forcing the Eggman name to him, and they're like avoiding the name Robotnik for some reason.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the same as in the Mario world. In the first Mario, the final fight with Bowser in the very first game, they called him Koopa.
Yeah,
and it was just because like in the original version he was Bowser, but I don't know, the Americans can't handle that for some reason, so they had to change his name. Same thing with, you know, instead of calling her Princess Peach, we called her just the princess. We couldn't say her real name for some reason. Once the games got popular, then they made the change. So I feel like that's kind of what's happening with Sonic, is that, I mean, in the live action movie,
but that was so long ago, and now we're in 2022 and they can't say Robotnik. Meanwhile, they're doing it in the movie.
In the live action movie, he's Robotnik, and the egg portion of it is just a joke that Sonic uses to bust his chops a little bit.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess it doesn't really bother me so much, but I can kind of.
It's just weird. It's weird to me. I don't know. It's like, I feel like, because to me it feels like they're forcing it rather than being like an organically like funny joke to say about him. It's just like a normal thing that he's just gonna keep saying throughout the whole series. It's like,
that's true, right. But I guess the goal though, like we said before, it's clearly aiming for kids. Yeah. And calling him Eggman and busting his chops and all that stuff is a little bit more kid friendly than calling him Robotnik. Not that that's not kid friendly, but you know, Eggman might make a kid chuckle. Robotnik's not going to.
Yeah, I guess
that's my my conspiracy theory on it.
All right. Well, with that being said, do you have high hopes for it, or are you just gonna watch and try to enjoy the ride?
I don't have a super high expectation for it, but I think it's going to be good. Listen, Netflix is focusing big time on video game adaptations. Yeah. And I've been saying for a long time that one streaming service, if they decide we're going to put effort and time and money into the video game portion of the movie industry or TV industry, that network is gonna kind of dominate since no one else was doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
and Netflix has chosen to be that one, and they do good stuff. So I'm excited for it.
What drives me crazy, and it's like DC kind of shows you, and I hate to go back to DC and shit on them again, but they show you what not to do, right?
Shit all you want, sir.
Yeah, I know Steve's enjoying it.
Listen, until James Gunn proves us wrong, he's already now dropped a few notches.
Right.
He needs to show us what he can do. If he wants to bring DC up.
As far as a world builder, I agree.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is like for example, Xbox deciding or Microsoft deciding Paramount is gonna produce and create Halo, right? Why not have every, like, if you're Ubisoft and you're creating a Division movie or show or whatever they're doing, whatever game series, Assassin's Creed, right? Sony, you know, with everything they're doing, we got Sega creating, you know, Sonic. All these companies, they should single focus a streaming platform and just make some crazy video game like streaming service. Like,
I totally
just
agree.
One location where you have people who enjoy games, who understand them, who understand these characters that they're trying to create in live action or whatever, and it's not like a jumbled mess and all over the place, and it's just like a random Paramount person trying to recreate Halo. You know, it's just strange to me.
That's what G4, remember that channel G4?
Yes.
I feel like, or that network, whatever it was, I feel like that is...
Pour one out for G4, by the way, if you have any liquor.
Yeah, I got some left. I feel like the biggest mistake they made was they tried to emulate other TV stations and put a video game twist on it. And what they should have done is exactly what you're describing, is give us shows and stuff that are adapting the games we love. If they had done that back then with the shitty special effects and money and all that kind of stuff they had, they would still be around.
Yeah,
because we
like they had a couple of good shows like X-Play and stuff like that were good shows that you could have ran like in their prime time hours or whatever.
100%.
And then the rest of the time you could have had like Sonic cartoons going, or the old Mario Brothers cartoon with Lou Albano or whatever. Like you could have had like all these video game shows and stuff, and create more stuff. But They'd rather compete with each other rather than work together and create like a dominating platform. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because then they all win. When they compete with each other, it's like Halo kind of was cool, but that it was not Halo in the sense of true Halo, and it kind of fell off. Like to the hardcore
that's how you
fans.
Get Master Chief taking his helmet off for the entire show.
And
you don't have to
not only his helmet off, but we get to see his ass. So there's that too.
And over and over
like that. Chris really enjoyed that.
I did like the ass. Well, there's what's his name? Pablo Schreiber has a nice ass. So what am I
he must work out.
He must work out.
But like, it's just like, why go that route and try to compete with Sony making Uncharted and all that stuff when you guys can work together and produce everything for Netflix or whatever that place is, you know? I don't know. It's just strange.
But then again, we say that, but then again, we have like Capcom, who is putting all their money in the Netflix basket, and they still can't produce a freaking solid property for Resident Evil.
True.
So, you know,
Resident Evil just might be the type of show that just can't be remade into a live action.
I refuse to believe it. One of these days, somebody from Capcom is going to hear me talk, and you're going to hire me. Let me be the front runner or whatever they call it, the overseer for the property, and I will give you a good show, not a movie, because we keep trying to cram a 20-hour story into 2 hours. No, a good show. A good fucking show. I'll have a 10-year plan for you. Trust me.
Yeah. They could easily make a cop show that's just Raccoon City and just watch the infections slowly happen.
If they don't want to, again, not to get off topic here, I keep derailing us, but if they don't want to get the storyline of a game and make a good show out of one game, then fine. Do a different thing, but to your point, do a show focused on stars just being stars, or the Raccoon PD just being the Raccoon City PD, and not dealing with Umbrella and all that stuff. leave those as Easter eggs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Have one friggin' show or movie about the people who live in the town from Resident Evil 4 as it's being taken over by the Las Plagas disease. You know what I mean? Like so many avenues you could go to tell decent stories that don't involve the games.
You know what's crazy to me?
Want to screw it all up.
You know what's crazy to me? Like, you could create such a cool show. Like, if you want to talk about Umbrella and stuff like that, you can have a show about Umbrella. You can have a show about Raccoon City. And then you can have those shows collide when shit hits the fan. You know what I mean? Like, with Resident Evil 2, you're following one character's story, and then you have another character's story, and then how we get to see them kind of intertwine with each other in certain parts of the game or whatever. They did it with The Last of Us. You had, you know, Ellie's story, and then you had Abby's story, and then you had the, you know, final showdown after you got through it all.
The games, especially the games they're picking, are blueprints. They're giving you the info, and they just don't want to follow along.
It just doesn't make sense to me. But we could talk about that all day. So we still have one more entertainment news I want to get to, and yeah, we are in entertainment, even though we've been going nuts on gaming. But we'll get to it. Well. Just this Friday is Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special.
Can't wait.
I'm glad they haven't given us another trailer, and I'm hoping we don't get one before Friday, because I feel like I've seen all I needed to see, and I'm just ready to see the special, and I don't need any more spoilers or whatever they're going to show us in a trailer. But I'm excited for this Friday to check this out. Werewolf by Night was amazing, so the fact that we're getting another hour special so soon with the Guardians of the Galaxy cast, minus Gamora, maybe she's there, who knows.
Well, they are saying that it does go directly into Guardians 3. So this is basically the bridge for the next movie. So
so I don't know, Steve, you gonna check this one out?
Which one?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
The
holiday special.
I heard what she said. I'll watch it.
Okay.
I'm having some fucking internet issues right now.
Oh no.
Oh man, he just upgraded his internet. He's still having issues.
I'd say let's get Wade Pool in here, but his internet's probably not even hooked up. All right. Well, so Chris, this is gonna lead into Guardians 3. So, other than Kevin Bacon finally joining the MCU, in a fantastic way, this is probably the best way a character can join the MCU. I feel like getting kidnapped by Drax. It kind of sucks in the sense though, and I don't know if it was one of you guys bringing it up previously or I heard it somewhere. It sucks in the sense that Kevin Bacon can't really be an MCU character anymore, because now he's just himself.
Well, yes and no, right? I mean, we're going into the multiversal portion of the MCU, so they could very easily have a variant of Kevin Bacon, or someone who looks like Kevin Bacon play a character. He could do a voice of a character, you know what I mean? That's not out of the question either. But so my guess is this connects to Guardians 3 in the sense that Peter Quill is distraught that he can't find Gamora and he's searching for her. And my hope is that at some point he finds some sort of big clue or something about where she could be, and that's essentially what starts the third movie, is him following up on that breadcrumb.
Maybe it's the actual present that they bring him. I can't think Kevin Bacon's going to be the final present. Maybe he is. I don't know. But
it's got to be disappointing if we don't see Star-Lord and Kevin Bacon interact a little bit. You know what I mean? But you also got to think too that he's been away from Earth for so long. It might not be that big of a deal to see Kevin Bacon. You know, so who knows? But
picturing his face is just like seeing his footloose idol.
Just to like temper expectations for anyone who's listening, like, don't expect this to be like a 2-hour Guardians movie that leads into another Guardians movie. It's going to be 45 minutes, I would think, maybe even less, 30 minutes. It's going to be a quick kind of thing, but it's just breadcrumbs basically leading into the next movie. I don't think it's going to be some giant, epic MCU set piece.
Right. I mean, that's coming Friday. Probably they've been dropping at like 3 in the morning. So
yeah,
maybe,
so our time, right? Midnight. Midnight California time.
So at some point on Friday, we'll be checking it out, and we all should have off, unless you work retail, which I don't miss working retail. Black Friday weekend.
No, I work Black Friday. E-commerce, so I'm. But I get out at 2, so I'll be able to watch that at a reasonable.
Nice. Off Black Friday.
Very nice.
Good luck to you guys, dude.
I've done many Black Friday shifts. I do not miss them one bit.
Yeah. It was always a fun day, but once I stopped doing it, I realized how horrible they were.
Yeah, it was fun when the day actually started, like when the doors opened. But I remember I would have to be there at like 3 a.m, and the doors wouldn't open at 5 until like 5 or 6. And from 3 to 6, it was setting up the store, catering to the people waiting in line that's wrapping around the building 5 times for a TV that's probably gonna be broken by the time you bring it home. It's just like, it was just a nightmare. By the time the doors open, you're already exhausted, and you have like 12 more hours of craziness ahead of you. So I just know. It was fun for a little while, and then I just forget it. I'm done with that.
I definitely do not miss it.
Yeah,
I definitely do not miss it.
Shout out to my old Circuit City crew back in the day.
Right, I forgot you worked at Circuit City. I worked at Circuit City
too. All right, so we're gonna switch over to the gaming verse and talk about something. Did you guys play Pokemon back in the day, growing up?
Never.
Of course. Did you say never?
You never played it?
Fucking loser.
I never got into it until I was much older. And then even then I never played it because at that point I'm like, I don't have enough time for this shit.
Did you play Pokemon Go though?
No, like for a month I tried it and then I just deleted it.
Oh, so you played it then?
Yeah, I guess.
I played Pokemon Go like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I haven't played that in a while, to be honest. But I was a big fan of Pokemon back in the day. Like it was just when we had, it was, I think, the red and the blue, and then
red, blue, and then
yellow, which was kind of like a weird combination of the two. But did we lose somebody? We lost Chris.
Yep, I think Chris had to go.
Got you. So yeah, apparently the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is struggling to perform well on, and I mean from a performance level, not a financial level. It's struggling to perform well on the Switch, which it blows my mind that Nintendo just refuses to make a console that's next gen capable. They rather stick to the cartoon. Like for the Switch was for the longest time the newest console out, and it only came with 720p HD capabilities.
Oh, like, no shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, their brand new Switch console. We already had the Xbox One and the PS4, so we knew what they could do, which was bonkers at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Switch comes out, this brand new Nintendo innovative, move and portable and all this stuff, and it's still only 720p, and it can only do cartoon animations because the other stuff just looks strange. I don't understand their thinking with that, and like, it's sad because Nintendo used to be so innovative and used to be like the leader in gaming, in the gaming industry. They were the leaders as far as creating the new hot console or game or whatever.
I mean, they were really sought after. Maybe, I mean, they're probably just stuck in their ways.
Yeah, that's what it seems, because the games that we're getting are Pokemon, we're getting Zelda, we're getting Mario, we're getting Kirby, we're getting Smash Brothers, like Mario Kart, all types of Marios,
just rehashed shit.
Right,
yeah.
We're not getting new shit from Nintendo. They're just, and to their credit, they know people are gonna buy it, so they're like, screw it, let's just keep doing it, right? It's smart business, I guess, but
it is. But I mean, eventually, I think it'll bite them.
Yeah, I agree,
because people are just gonna. I mean, you got like the Series X and the PlayStation 5 and how advanced they are. eventually people are going to pick up on that and just be like, you know what? I don't care about Nintendo. Like they're just producing the same shit on outdated software.
Bro, you look at a game like Horizon Forbidden West or God of War or Forza Horizon 5 or whatever that was, right? Like these games and like Microsoft Flight Simulator, like these games that have crazy detailed, large worlds, like you can see the paint peeling on a piece of brick on a building in some random city with the detail in some of these games, right? You could see a pimple or a freckle or whatever. But you go to a Nintendo game and you're just seeing a cartoon flat drawing that they're animating in front of you that you can press A and B on. You know what I mean? It's just they're getting away with doing so little, I feel like. And it's starting to bite them in the ass apparently, because it's just the new Pokemon is not performing well. It's struggling. It's having memory leaks. It's doing all crashing on people. It's just a nightmare. And they're really getting bombarded. Like the player score right now is a 3.0 out of 10 for a review. The critics gave it a 77. They were a little nicer, but
and that's just disappointing because I mean Pokemon's always going to be
a major
high valued item.
Yeah, it's a major release for them, like just as big as a Mario or Zelda coming out. Like Pokemon is the next big thing, you know, and it's so far failing as far as performance goes. Now I'm hearing the game is fun if it's working,
but that's the thing, like you only put up with so much of issues before you're like, fuck this, I'm done with this game.
Exactly. And what's even more frustrating, like Nintendo advertised a brand new Switch. Like you know how like PlayStation came out with like the PS4 and then they had the PS4 Pro, which was like the updated graphics or whatever technology they had at the time. And I think Xbox might have done something similar. And then they did it with the Nintendo, but the only thing upgraded for the Nintendo was like a different screen. They didn't update any of the performance of the system. It's just the same old garbage hardware at 720p with a prettier screen on it. Like I just don't know what they're doing over there, man.
They need to fire somebody. That's what they need to do.
Agreed.
Fire the head of development or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but like I don't know. Pokemon's a major release, and hopefully they can somehow patch it and make it work correctly. But it's not a good start. It's not looking good so far with Scarlet and Violet, which is a shame because I was actually tempted to maybe try this one because it's been a while since I played a Pokemon, and I used to play this type of game for hours.
I even go back and play Red and Blue on emulators.
Yeah. Bro, like, I remember the days of like, I think I had the blue one and my buddy had red or vice versa. I can't remember at this point. And like literally driving or having like my mom or whoever drop me off at the house so I can trade with them to get a Pokemon trade. Yeah. You need like the weird cable adapter connector that goes from Game Boy to Game Boy just so you can trade your Pokemons because it was not available on the other color. It's crazy.
I mean, look at this point, we're just giving up our age. So
true. I feel like we did that a long time ago, but it's okay.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, it's in our description.
Facts. This is true. This was the first thing we said to people. We're dads and husbands.
We're a bunch of old fucks that like to do kid stuff.
They're old. They walked 15 miles to school in the snow.
It was only 3 for me. That was my grandparents.
Yeah, true. Next up, I don't know if you've seen it, but AEW dropped a trailer for their new game coming out.
I have not, but I've heard.
It looks pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know really what to expect, but I know this is being made by the people who used to make like No Mercy and WCW versus NWO and those old school.
Oh, like N64 games?
Yeah, it's made by that company, THQ, I think. And so it's giving me high hopes for this AEW game, because those are fantastic wrestling games.
Yeah, I kind of want to give it a shot then.
Yeah. So the trailer was pretty interesting. It looked pretty good. Some of the animations were kind of, but we'll have to see how the full game is when it drops out. But
I wonder if they're gonna wait to drop it at the same time that WWE drops their game, just to see if there's any competitive shit going on there.
Maybe. I
don't think it would fare well. I think they would get destroyed if they dropped it at the same time as WWE.
Yeah. I don't know when the new WWE comes out, but it's a good segue into my next point is with wrestling games, like WWE 2K23 is on sale for $20 right now. And I kind of wanted to pose this question to you, Chris, John, and Carmine. If we all can pick it up, I got to find out if this is crossplay. Because if we can do this and have actual wrestling matches against each other and do like some sort of wrestling tournament, you know how much fun this could be?
That'd be a blast.
For $20.
Shit talking?
It's going to be so good. So for $20, I might just pick it up for myself anyway. But I highly recommend you and whoever else in GGEN to pick it up, because it's an awesome sale right now. And I feel like the game just came out not too long ago.
There's a good possibility that Carmine already has it.
Maybe. I know 22 the one that was on Game Pass. That's a possibility, but 23 I think came out not too long ago, and it's already only $20, which is pretty dope. So I might pick that up. So if anyone's out there a wrestling fan, check PlayStation Store, check GameStop, Best Buy, whatever console you're playing on, and check it out. It's $20. But are you gonna be I know there's a AEW pay-per-view going on right now, probably. Are you gonna check it out? I feel like I'm probably gonna check it out tomorrow at some point, or maybe Monday.
We'll definitely check it out, because I'd say once Carmine's over with his overtime, we'll do a review on it and whatnot.
Yeah, let me know when
you're more than welcome to jump in that.
Yeah,
you're more than welcome to jump in and give us your thoughts and review of it and shit.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, One Shot and Zuplex do a wrestling show, and it's called the Oversell Podcast, and Zuplex has been hosting it for what you guys are on. You've done 2 episodes, right?
We've done 2 episodes, and we have a review yet to post for one of the War Games matches.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so if you are a wrestling fan and you're listening to this, we have a lot more wrestling content. I just did a reaction to a wrestling top 10 greatest characters, breaking character, which was a funny video. So if you want to check that out, go do that. But we got a ton of wrestling content coming, and I may pick up this 2K23 if it's only $20, and this AEW game for me is looking pretty good. The fact that it's made by THQ is really pushing it over the edge for me. As far
that
as
makes it a real good selling point.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know. Lately, I've just been so much more into what's happening on both network or both companies than I've ever been. I was following AEW for a little bit, and then I kind of fell off, as you know, people do all the time in wrestling. You can jump in and out as you please. It always happens. For me, it was like I kind of fall off of wrestling until the Royal Rumble. I'll watch the Royal Rumble, and then that kicks off the road to WrestleMania, and that's when we get the best storylines that the company has to offer, right? Everything leads to WrestleMania. And then once WrestleMania hits, you get a couple Raws and SmackDowns, and then you have that aftermath, pay-per-view where they kind of figure everything out, and then for the rest of the year, they're just kind of like building up to the next road to WrestleMania, basically. But lately, way before the road to WrestleMania even starts in a month or two, we've been having really good storylines in wrestling, and I've been really enjoying both products recently.
with Triple H taking over creative, he's done so much justice for it.
I agree.
It's impressive because, like I've told Carmine in our shows, for the longest time I didn't watch. I would occasionally watch clips and just be like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
And then
that was a
once
cool
he
match,
took over and he took the direction of the Bloodline, like he gave them some life, adding Sami Zayn to that, and then it just
the Bloodline's my favorite thing in wrestling right now. It's
and right now Kevin Owens coming back. I don't know if you saw where Kevin Owens came back and fought Roman Reigns briefly. Well, kicked the shit out of him briefly and stunned him.
I didn't see that yet. Did that happen in SmackDown?
You may want to join us when we watch the War Games, because the War Games is the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes. I think it's Sheamus, Brutes, McIntyre, and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Versus the Bloodline. So I think it's going to be a phenomenal fucking match.
Yeah.
So you're more than welcome to jump in on that one too.
You're going to watch it live and react live to it?
I don't know what the plan is. I got to get with Carmine and figure out if we're going to do a live reaction. If we can do a live reaction, just what we're going to do with it.
Figure it out, no doubt. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. But so guys, if you're listening and you're a fan of wrestling, we have tons of wrestling content coming, and don't miss out on that deal for $20. And let me know if you're excited for AEW wrestling finally getting a video game and being ran by our old school buddies of THQ. And with that being said, we're gonna pass the mic over to One Shot here. Warzone 2.0 dropped recently, and for me personally, I'm having a blast with it. I do have my issues with it for sure, but I'm gonna pass the mic to you and I'm gonna let you take it. And what do you think of Warzone 2.0 so far?
All right, I enjoy it. It's fun when you're not lagging.
Yeah,
because the servers are just absolute trash right now. I don't know if it's because they're having high volumes or what the hell is going on with it, but everybody's lagging. Console, PC, they can't figure it out.
It's bad.
And then
I played for a few hours last night. Sorry to cut you off. I played for a few hours last night. Bro, every match was laggy. It wasn't like this 2 nights ago, but for some reason yesterday, and I'm assuming today or whatever, it's just a lag fest, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's been today because I watched John play earlier, and he lagged the entire fucking time.
Yes, that's so frustrating.
They have so much stuff that they need to clean up, and it would be a phenomenal game.
Yep.
Like, there's just too many bugs and shit that they got going on that's hindering it from being like a top tier fucking game.
I mean, this is kind of their own fault because they only allowed I'm going to quote unquote privileged gamers play Warzone 2.0. Like, they should have rolled this thing out in a beta for all of us, and they could have knocked out some of these bugs from the jump. You know what I mean? And
I agree 100% on that.
They did a closed event where we had to watch other people play it, so we didn't get a true sense of how the game's gonna play. It's only like 20 of them in a room jumping into a Warzone match. Like, you're not getting the data you think you're getting, and 2, you're not really testing your server limits. It's just they handicapped themselves before the thing even launched.
They have to stop pandering to content. I mean, I get why they pandered to content creators, right, but when it comes to the development of your game,
marketing team, basically.
Yeah, but when it comes to the development of your game, you need the actual players,
correct?
The ones that are going to try to have fun with it,
right? And
once your game's established,
they did that with Modern Warfare. They gave us a couple betas and early release gameplay weekends with the multiplayer. They allowed the players to jump in on that, but for some reason with Warzone, they kept it really close knit, close to the chest, and to just the privileged few that got to play it. And I think that's what's contributing to them not realizing the issues before their launch. It's bad because I was lagging so much yesterday. I must have seen people and it must have looked like I was cheating, honestly, because I was seeing people like through buildings almost. Like you would see a player would be running through a building and I would see like pixelation where that player would be. It was so weird. And they would running and jumping off of like a roof, and as soon as they got behind the building would pixelate, and I'm like, all right, I guess there's a player over there because the building's glitching out. It was just very strange of like what was happening. And also the time to kill feels very different than Warzone 1.
It's because the TTK is fucking outrageous. Everything kills real quick.
Yeah, it's quick, and it's like I don't know, the recoil on a lot of these guns are all over the place. There's like no stability. I will give them credit though. I don't know if you've really dug deep into the gunsmith, but there's so much you can do with these weapons. Did you see?
I've done quite a bit with them. I've fucked around and made hipfire builds, long range builds, damage builds.
Bro, there's so much you can do, man. And then you can take it into a firing range and test what you just like concocted in the lab. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's awesome.
It's such a phenomenal concept, but they have so many other issues that it's just shattered.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, cool. You just made this awesome build, but you can't play because the server's shit. Or it's struggling to find 150 players on launch weekend, which makes zero sense. Like, come on, dude.
We had such a fucking issue with that. We probably spent a half hour trying to get into one match.
Yeah, it's
just
insane.
Throwing us in dead lobbies.
And then you had to like leave queue. And by the way, can you stop kicking me to the lobby every time I die in the game? Like, let me just re-queue instantly and get right back in it. Why do I have to go back to the shitty UI that you still haven't fixed? It like, that has to be one of the worst UIs for COD. I don't know
I think I was reading that the UI creator is the same one that created Hulu's UI or something.
Oh my god, it's so bad. And yeah, Hulu's, you know, not the greatest streaming service right now anyway, so that makes sense. Dude, the UI is just terrible. You send me back, like, and it doesn't even just send you to like the battle royal Warzone lobby. It sends me to like the beginning where it's like, do you want to do the campaign or do you want to do multiplayer? I'm like, yeah, well, like, what are you doing, man? Just let me queue up. I'm spectating somebody. Let me just re-queue while I'm spectating and launch me into a game when it's available, you know? Like,
and even how they had that social bug going on. Like, that was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you couldn't even join your friends unless you did some weird backdoor invitation through a party chat or something. Like,
which if you were on console together, like Xbox, it was easy to invite Xbox because you got your friends list. But I'm on PC, so I'm playing with Xbox players. So it's like, okay, I got to figure this out real quick. Create this channel. Got to invite you. Okay, now you can find me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I need your Activision number. Your Activision ID number and all this stuff. Oh, and finally we're friends, but now I can't see you on the list because the list is broken.
Yeah.
Like, all right. This is just super difficult. Shit. Yep. But other than all of that, I love the map, by the way. The map, to me, I love the size of it, and I know it kind of creates slower gameplay, but I do love the fact that the map is so big, but yet gives us so many different elevations and buildings and, you know, marshlands and underwater capabilities. Is just so many different things you can do with this map. I think they really knocked this one out of the park. I agree with it. My only complaint, and I'll let you continue, is it's sandy again. Like, we're back in Verdansk where everything is just yellow sand looking color. All the buildings are sand colored. Everything is just sand. Like, there's no color to the map. You know what I mean? That's my biggest complaint to it.
I agree with it. And I really like the fact that they incorporated old Modern Warfare 2 maps.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You've got the dome, you've got terminal, you've got all that. That's awesome. I like that they incorporated underwater shit in this game. The one thing that's always never made sense to me is the fact that you're this badass soldier, but you can't swim.
Mm-hmm. I do notice, and it's still a problem, but I do notice that we can somewhat climb rocks now. It's not great. It's in Warzone 1, forget it. You couldn't get up any rock. It's not possible. If if the storm is closing in on you and you have to get up a cliff, forget it. You're dead.
I broke a controller from button mashing trying to get up a fucking hill.
Yeah, it's impossible. And it looks like the smoothest thing that you can just walk over, but yet the game won't let you. So Warzone 2.0, it's not perfect. It's still bad, but I was able to climb a lot more easily than I was in Warzone 1. So that's a plus, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. All in all, I would give it, as it sets right now, probably a 7.8 to an 8.0.
Yeah.
If I were to range on a scale, because of all the bugs and shit.
Yeah.
And for PC players, especially, because it was giving me FPS. I was for dropping frames like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I would have 180 frames 1 second, then drop all the way down to 20.
Yeah.
And it was always when I was trying to shoot somebody. So then I got to go into my settings and figure out how to fucking change that. What am I got to change here so I can try to get my frames back?
Yeah, it's been a nightmare.
So once they smooth all this out, it'll be a definite solid game. I still like Verdansk better.
Do you?
I love Verdansk. Yeah, I absolutely love that game. I don't know if it's because we had a lot of gaming memories involved with that. Like, time will tell. Maybe, we'll create a lot more gaming in this.
I hope so. And I hope they don't take as long to replace maps. We were on my biggest thing with Verdansk is I got so bored of it, I didn't want to play it anymore. Like, I was tired of diving into the same map over and over again.
I was the same way, and then they released the fucking new map, and I was like, you know what? And you're like, give me Verdansk back.
Can we get Verdansk back? I agree with that.
That's where they can take a note from like PUBG and Apex. More so PUBG. Like, give me your map rotation.
I agree.
I mean, they're already 100%. Trying to be PUBG, and Apex Legends might as well fucking take their map cycling also.
Yeah, and they're also trying to be Escape from Tarkov, like giving us weird supplies. Like you go into the DMZ and you're like, I don't know if you've done the DMZ yet, but you get like car batteries and all kinds of stuff. Like
which I still don't have no fucking idea what I'm using them for.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing in the DMZ. The only thing I did in the DMZ was get my M13, which I'm super excited about, and now I have to level up on the multiplayer side. But I'm gonna need you to drop in the DMZ with me. Yeah, and drop me that. The M13 apparently shreds, and I'm excited to get into that. But I just needed time to go into multiplayer and actually do it, because trying to do it in Warzone will take forever.
Yeah,
it'll just take forever. But yeah,
and right now they dropped hardcore, so your matches can go quicker and you can level your shit up quicker. They called it it's called tier 1. It's not hardcore anymore, it's tier 1.
Oh really?
Yeah, they changed the name of it, but it's hardcore.
Okay. Yeah, no, hardcore, that's the way to do it then, for sure. All right, dope. That was Warzone 2.0. I agree with that 8.0, 7.8 type of score. Once they fix the bugs and really tune the game the way it should be, now that we're technically beta testing it for them, this game should be pretty awesome.
Tune the game like we can tune the guns.
Correct. Absolutely. Next up, we have God of War, and I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts. I was hoping Chris would be around for this one because he's played it as well, but that's okay. I know you don't have PlayStation, so you haven't played God of War yet, but this game has been phenomenal so far, and Warzone's kind of derailing my story with God of War, because when a new multiplayer game comes out, I just drop everything. It doesn't matter what story I'm playing, no matter how in love with the story I'm doing, I'm playing, I have to go to multiplayer. That's just how I'm wired and how I've been. But God of War, just from the jump, when you have to fight Thor, that was one of the most badass fighting scenes, gameplay wise, cinematic wise. It was just a crazy ass fight. The dialogue was fantastic.
So many people are happy with the way they made Thor look,
dude. It's like it's fat Thor but not Lebowski Thor, you know what I mean? It's just the
like they say it's the most accurate version of
Yeah.
Thor that you can get.
Yeah, and Odin was a scrawny little guy. It's kind of funny to see like the two of them together. But dude, this Thor, and if you're a fan of Sons of Anarchy and you don't know, Ryan Hurst, the guy who voiced Opie, yeah, he's Thor, bro. He's Thor, and dude, the dialogue is so good, man. The voice is on point, and there's a part in this game where like Thor kills you, right? Spoiler if you haven't played God of War yet. Sorry. Thor kills you, and you think you're dead because you get like almost like a game over screen, like it's like, oh god, all right, you're gonna reload my checkpoint or whatever, and all of a sudden you hear Ryan Hurst's voice. You know, he goes, "You're not dying on me, boy. I'm not done with you yet." And he takes the hammer to your chest and zaps you with lightning, and like he did in Tony Stark in Endgame. Zaps you with lightning, you come back to life, and your fight begins again. And it's like, it's one of the most badass video game scenes I've seen in a long time. It was incredible.
That is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. So the game so far for me has been like, I can't even find a complaint with it, other than maybe when you're dodging enemies. Sometimes even when you're dodging, they still hit you, which is aggravating to me. Like I'm fighting a monster that's whipping its tail, and I'll dodge in a direction that the tail shouldn't be hitting me, but somehow the tail extends so far out it still hits me. I'm like, come on. And these are the type of games where like
fucked up hitbox.
Yeah, exactly. And these are the type of games where like if you get hit 2-3 times, you might as well just restart the fight. You know, it's over. So in that aspect, it's been a little frustrating, but overall this game is in the 9s, close to a 10 as can be, as far as quality.
I 100% believe, because I got a PSP back in the day just solely to play God of War.
Yeah.
And like those games even back then were fucking amazing, phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how much
those were the Spartan God of War days, and now we're in the Norse mythology God of War, where you're fighting Thor and Odin and all that shit. It's just like just two different types of God of War. The company that creates it, Santa Monica, Cory Barlog, is just he's a genius with storytelling. He just makes great games, and this one is no different. It's knocking it out of the park right now. And this is going to segue into my next topic, which is the Game Awards. I know you didn't really agree with the list that was shown on a lot of it, but pull it up here. I'm just gonna do a couple of the big nominations here, and we'll start with.
Does it give you game of the year?
Let's go best action. Okay, best action game so far. We have Bayonetta 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, which I don't know what that is, to be honest. We have Sifu, which I heard was good, and we have Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I don't disagree with this list of nominations. I mean, sure, Neon White could be whatever, but I haven't played it, so I can't really speak on it. Do you have a problem with the action games?
No, but I can tell you Modern Warfare is going to take it.
I would agree. The only game that I think would combat it is possibly Bayonetta 3, and my bias is in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I would love for them to win, because for me personally, the fact that they were able to bring back a video game from the 80s and 90s with that same art style, no different than it was back in the day, and create a game that was just as good back then as it is now, it was just It was a masterpiece, in my opinion.
I can agree with that, but I mean, the likeliness that that's going to happen is, in my opinion, very slim.
Dude, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is one of the best CODs I've played in a long time. As far as like, not speaking about Warzone, just Modern Warfare 2.
Campaign is fucking phenomenal.
That campaign blew me away, dude. And I'm so glad you actually played it, because I know a lot of people skip the campaign and then go straight to multiplayer.
I do campaign first and then multiplayer.
That's what I normally do, because I know once I touch multiplayer, I will never see campaign again. So I need to get through the campaign first. And if you skip the campaign and you're listening, go back and play it, because this is one of the best campaigns that they've ever come out with.
And spoiler alert, you don't have to relive the trauma of Ghost dying, because he doesn't die.
Facts. Dude, the type of missions you do, what you're stealth in the bushes with ghillie suits, you're underwater, you're swimming around boats and docks and stealth killing enemies. Like the type of missions you're in are just bonkers. The sniping you got to do,
that mission alone.
What?
The mission alone, which is the one where you're Soap trying to get to Ghost after.
Bro, you're crafting items to survive.
The dialogue alone, the fact that they have Ghost telling you dad jokes, while you're in this fucking serious situation, it was so phenomenal.
It was so good.
The campaign alone, I would give a 9.9 to a 10.
Yeah, it was one of the best, if not the best COD campaign I've ever played. And the only problem, the only way it's not a 10 for me is because it was too short.
I mean, I agree. Yeah, it was too short.
The COD campaigns are notoriously short because they focus on multiplayer and they're focusing on Warzone and all this stuff. Meanwhile, the majority of their budget goes to the short campaign because they put so much into it as far as actors and dialogue and everything that's involved.
This campaign gets me excited for when they do Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3 was my favorite campaign. Favorite Modern Warfare out of the whole series.
See, but like, do you want them to remake it, or do you want them to do like what they're doing here and just reinventing it?
At this point, I'd be all right with them reinventing it. I was really iffy on it until I played the campaign, and then I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's okay. So good.
I agree with it. Like they did some homages in there, like all gillied up.
It gave you all the characters that you've grown to love in the Call of Duty franchise. Like every character is almost in this game, outside of the ones from like the 80s that they did in like Cold War and whatever. But like it's nuts. But yeah, so I agree. I think they're probably gonna win Best Action Game. I would love for Ninja Turtles to steal it, because I feel like Call of Duty could win Best Multiplayer, and that's kind of where I'll go next. Where's Best Multiplayer at? I lost it. I had it here and I lost it. Best Multiplayer. Yeah, so Call of Duty is up for Best Multiplayer. Then we have Multiverses. I don't know if you played that. I think Carmine has. Then we have Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and then we have Ninja Turtles again. So we got COD and Ninja Turtles kind of going head to head in another category. I think for best multiplayer, it's got to be Call of Duty though at this point.
I agree. I think if anybody comes kind of close, it's going to be Overwatch 2.
See, I would normally think Overwatch 2, but I've been hearing that so many people hate the new Overwatch compared to the first Overwatch that it's just basically a reskin, and it's not like a good reskin.
Yeah,
you know, it's like it's not like a new game, I guess is what I'm hearing, and that seems pretty disappointing. So I don't know if they're gonna get the votes. So I think it's gonna come down to COD again, but you never know. Overwatch has a crazy fan base with those games as well. Next up, we'll take a look at best performance. Where's that? Best performance. Yeah, best performance. See, all right. So I like this category because not only does it recognize, the game, but also recognize the voice behind the game. And it's
agreed.
back in the day, they would get no love. Like, you would have all these people doing video game voices and nobody would really give a shit. It was just, you know, another dialogue where the gameplay took over, you know what I mean? Like, that everyone cared about gameplay, nobody really cared about the dialogue. But lately, like, the production with these campaigns like God of War, even like the new Call of Duty and Horizon and all these other games that have been coming out, they're like movie quality scripts that these characters or actors are reading from. It's crazy the production that goes into these campaigns.
They need to release more of like the behind the scenes of them doing it, because they're acting while they're doing it. Like, they're doing the body motions, they're doing they're full on into it. It's very fucking impressive.
Bro, I watched they did a little behind the scenes of The Last of Us 2, I think it was, and you saw Ashley Johnson with the mocap suit on, you know, with all the little motion balls and everything, and you just see them acting out scenes with Joel and zombies and like they're in this room that has literally nothing in it. It's like white walls everywhere. It's like they're in an insane asylum, but they're doing like mocap, you know, scenes for the video game, and it's just nuts. Like, how they can put their mind into that character despite not being on like a set where you're kind of feeling like you're there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, remind me to try to link the behind the scenes mocap performance of Captain Price in the new Modern Warfare, because that shit's fucking great. It's phenomenal.
I gotta see that. I didn't see that. So yeah, on this one we have Ashley Birch, who I don't know if anybody watches Mythic Quest. It's an Apple TV show, so it's kind of hard to watch because I feel like not a lot of people have Apple TV. But
I haven't, I just don't watch it.
Yeah, so Mythic Quest, if you don't know, is from the creators of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So if you watch that show, Mac is a game director or a game creative, right? And he basically runs this development company that's building like a WoW style video game. And it's just all about humor and the ins and outs of kind of like what the game developing company goes through to create these games, and like kind of the stresses behind it, but they do it in like an Always Sunny type of fashion where it's just funny and weird and goofy, you know what I mean? But so my point is, this person, Ashley, who voices Aloy in Horizon Forbidden West, she's in that show and she's a great actor, and the fact that she's, you know, doing Aloy, who's a major character, she deserves to be nominated. I'll say that much. I don't think she's gonna win, because the person who I think's gonna win is Christopher Judge. Bro, he's unbelievable, man. Him as Kratos, he has the voice, he has the acting chops, he kills the dialogue every time, and like he can just say no, just saying like no, you know, like but no, the way he says it, you're like, oh shit, he's pissed, you know. like you can just
dad's
feel
in the
it.
house. Shit.
Yep. He's so good. And then we have Sunny nominated as well as Loki, but I don't think Judge loses this one, man. He just knocks Kratos out of the park. So what was a category that really got under your skin? I'll ask it that way. Was it Game of the Year?
It's not so much a specific category. It's the fact that it's like the same fucking games.
Yeah. Like
the people that they let pick this just pick the same games. Like where now Game of the Year is A Plague Tale: Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yep.
I've seen those games in half the fucking categories.
Yeah. Well, and here's my pushback to that. And I'm not disagreeing with you. It would be nice to get a more variety of games represented in, you know, the various categories that are here. But then it's like you watch the Oscars and it's like the same freaking movies nominated over and over and over, and then it's like, well, you know, This movie won 7 awards at the Oscars. And they just killed it on every freaking category. And it's like, well, that's because you had them in every category.
Yeah.
So
I feel they should branch out a little bit.
Yeah,
like throw an indie game in there.
Yeah.
There's some indie games that are fucking phenomenal.
I agree.
Mortuary Assistant, which was an
like,
indie game, and that was great.
Yeah, and they get their own category. Like they'll get like best indie game rather than, you know, best game of the year. They'll get their own best game of the indies. You know what I mean?
I'll give you one that drove me fucking crazy.
All right.
Content Creator of the Year.
Oh,
Carl Jacobs is in Content Creator of the Year. And that pisses me off.
Hold on. Let me get there.
So fucking much.
Let me get there. Content Creator of the Year. Carl Jacobs, got it. Yeah, Ludwig.
Like, how is he in there? And how is Mr. Beast not in this category?
I don't know how they select the streamers or the content creators in this category, because like what's the metric involved that or the data that they're getting that's saying these are or the 5 that we need to have
I have no clue, because Carl Jacobs shouldn't be in there. He's just a sidekick to Mr. Beast.
Yeah,
like I've seen him do some gaming here and there, but I don't know how he got Content Creator of the Year nomination. Ludwig, I can see. Ludwig does do some great content.
He does.
He branches out to everybody. Nebelian,
he would probably be
I
my
don't know
pick
how he
to
got
win,
there.
but everyone else, I'm not sure. I've seen and heard of Cutie Cinderella recently, but not for like a whole year. I don't know.
She shouldn't be in that category. Honestly, if Ludwig doesn't win this category, there's something fucking wrong.
I agree. I think Ludwig should win out of these 5, but there's so many content creators out there nowadays that it's crazy that like I said, like what are they using to get these 5 picked out of everyone? Like what are they seeing? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, add a category for small streamers too. Like,
yeah, you can do that too.
Some small streamers, some love, like 50,000 and below subscribers.
Yep.
Upcoming streamer of the year, some shit like that.
Yeah. New yeah, it's no different than like a new artist coming on the scene in hip hop or something, and they winning like a new artist of the year. Like it's like a player getting rookie of the year. You know, it's no different. I
agree.
So yeah, I agree with that. But all right, so we did best performance. We're gonna go best narrative. Best narrative. So this is gonna be a category. This is one of my favorite categories because it tells you what story was voted as the favorite of the year. God
of War is gonna win it.
For me, I would think God of War wins. I was a big fan, and I didn't finish Horizon Forbidden West yet. I was a fan of Horizon, but I can't say because I didn't finish it how it ends. I don't know. A lot of people loved Elden Ring, and I feel like Elden Ring, if God of War didn't come out this year, I feel like Elden Ring would have probably clean swept a lot of these categories. But
it may have, I agree, but I mean, it had a short lifespan.
It did. It had a very short lifespan, and Horizon Forbidden West would have gave Elden Ring a run for its money, in my opinion. But the fact that God of War came out so close to the Game Awards, it's fresh in everyone's mind. It's basically a 10 out of 10 video game that I can't see this one losing. For one, the campaign that I've seen so far has been fantastic, and I can't see it losing Game of the Year. I just think God of War is just gonna clean house on this year's Game Awards.
Do you think there's a better way to make the Game Awards more fair?
I don't know.
Is it fair that
what data are they going off of that makes them choose these games? That's what I want to know. It's the same with the
is it fair that a game can come out a month before the Game Awards and boom, it's in every fucking category? While there's been games out since January that are great games.
I get that, but then okay, so then is it fair that let's say you kick God of War out, right? Saying it's too close, we can't have you there, right? Yeah. Then next year in Game Awards 2023, you have a 2022 video game winning game of the year. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I don't know.
But with them running it so close to the end of the year, I'd be okay with that. It gives it more time for people to
play it, get it for the holidays,
get a taste of that game.
Yeah, I get it. I see your point.
Right out the gate, like everybody's so excited because it's a God of War game when it could be absolutely fucking trash. But you got somebody who absolutely loved the game, and they're one of the people picking the categories.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's crazy, because I know game studios don't really care about game of the year. I mean, I'm sure they care that they win it or they have a nomination to win it, but it's not why they're making the game. And for me, it's like for example, I thought Horizon, the first Horizon Zero Dawn, should have won game of the year, in my opinion, right? But what won game of the year was Zelda, and Zelda clean house on a lot of categories. And I feel like Zelda has, and then like the Nintendo fan base, there's such a, it's almost like it's like Hog Army. They're very protective of their brand, and you know, they're 100% go all hands on all things Tom, right? And I feel like Nintendo Zelda fans are the same way. Like if something in Zelda drops, it doesn't matter how good it is or what it is, they're just voting for
back it. I agree with that. Yeah,
and
I agree with that. Which I think's an unfair advantage.
It's an unfair advantage
these games have.
And Horizon Zero Dawn, which is basically, if you think about it, I don't know if you've seen gameplay of it, it's basically what Zelda would look like if it was on the PS5 or Xbox, and it was on a Switch. That's what Zelda should look like, right? You have somebody with a bow and arrow killing machines just like you did in Breath of the Wild. It was basically a Zelda game that looked in PlayStation 4 and I guess PC at some point graphics, right? And it got beat out by Zelda, which is a good game, but it's not the best Zelda game in my opinion. The best Zelda game was Ocarina of Time on N64. And I've argued people with this. Some people will disagree and say it was Breath of the Wild, but I just feel like you're saying that because that's the most recent, and you forget how well that old game was. You know what I mean? And,
I agree with that. I'll agree with that statement. That's very, very true.
And
I think that's where the
unfair. Like you had this brand new game that was phenomenal get derailed by a fan base that was just like, oh, it's Zelda, I'm voting.
Yeah, it's because of a name. Like they have that name, just like God of War. Even though God of War is a phenomenal game,
now they have the backing.
Complete ass, and still come in because it's got that God of War tag.
They have the backing.
Like, oh shit, it's a God of War game. Yeah, we got to pick that.
Yep.
When there could be a game in the same category that just blows it out of the water, but it's not as popular because it's a newer style game.
Correct. Yeah, and it's a shame. So I really don't know how you can come up with your nominations, but what are you gonna do, man? And you see it happen in the Oscars. It happens in every award, and artists and games and movies get snubbed all the time in random categories. So it's just one of those things that you just can't fight, I guess. Just kind of have to like deal with. But there's definitely indie games out there that I've never even heard of and played that are probably better than a lot of these nominations that are not getting the time of day or the eyes to see what it is. You know what I mean? So I agree with that.
According to Google, I typed in how did they pick Game Award nominees. It says each voting outlet completes a confidential unranked ballot based on the collective and diverse opinion of its entire editorial staff, listing out its top 5 choices in each category. So it's basically picked by people that run the Game Awards,
right? It's their own people and their own opinions, so it's not like a majority thing.
Completely biased standpoint on it.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what the general public cares. It's just what we care in house. And
I guess. I guess it's what they care and also what they think we would care about. You know what I mean? Well, if they don't put God of War in the game of the year category, are people going to watch the show? You know, that's probably also part of the thinking that they're doing.
But I mean, ultimately, you can't hate them because it's their fucking show.
Facts. And I will say, it's one of my favorite. It's definitely my favorite award show, because watching the Oscars and Grammys and all that stuff is a bore fest. You can't even watch MTV Awards without getting hit with like 9,000 political ads. Like, it's just like,
I don't even watch them.
Yeah, you can't even watch an award show, but the Game Awards I get hyped for, man. I love it. And speaking of that, the Game Awards is dropping. It's going live December 8th. I'm doing my best, which I think I should be able to do it, but I will be live on the channel watching and reacting to the Game Awards. So if you and anyone else in GGEN and listeners and viewers and wherever you're hearing us from, if you want to join the conversation live, I will be watching the Game Awards on our YouTube and
What
Twitch.
time is it? What time is it happening?
I think it starts at 7. Let me see here.
PM or AM?
PM. December 8th at 7:30 PM.
Yeah, I should be able to jump in. I work that day, but I only work until 6 unless some major stuff happens.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be on the channel. We'll be watching and reacting. They always drop new trailers. They give us some cool new stuff to look at while they nominate all and give awards out to people and games. It's a good time. I always enjoy it, but sometimes you're like, all right, well, that game shouldn't have won, but you can see where the fan base really pulled that one through on just voting alone, you know?
Yeah.
Just like, but what are you going to do? And that's going to lead us into December and our game releases for December. So let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah, I have no clue what's releasing in December.
Yeah, so I know this is your first MVP, but every episode that's at the end of the month, we go over what's coming out the following month. And for everybody listening, next month is December. We're not just gonna do what's coming out in January. We're gonna do like a general what's to come in 2023 as a whole, and kind of run down what our most anticipated games are for 2023. So that'll happen in MVP, I believe, episode 19. We're on 17 now, so we got 18 and then 19. So look for that. But for this one, since we're at the end of November and we won't have another MVP until December, we're going to look ahead. And right off the bat, we have a banger. We didn't actually talk about the Callisto Protocol. Did you see the trailer that I posted for Callisto?
No, I haven't. I haven't got a chance.
Have you ever played Dead Space?
Briefly. Very briefly.
Okay. Well, the creators of Dead Space, who's actually remaking Dead Space 1 for Xbox and PlayStation and I think PC, they have a new game coming out called Callisto Protocol. And it's basically like Dead Space. It looks like it's outer space, dark corridors. He's locked up in jail. He has, gadgets attached to him and all kinds of weird stuff. He's fighting infection monsters, and it's basically Dead Space. It looks very gory.
Just rebranded.
Yeah, it looks very gory. It looks very on brand to what Dead Space was. And to be honest, Dead Space to me was one of my favorite games back in the day. It was very well made. So I'm gonna definitely check out Callisto Protocol, because from what I know, Dead Space being and what Callisto could be, if it's built like Dead Space, this game has a lot of potential to kick ass. And the fact that it's so gory, like you're not just shooting down monsters, you're dismembering limbs and like you're taking shit apart. Like it's gory, man. It looks awesome.
I mean, that does sound pretty fun.
Yeah, for sure. You're chopping the zombie's head off, your leg off, everything. Like, it's just nuts, man, the things you can do from what I've seen in the trailers. So I'm definitely looking forward to Callisto, and this is dropping December 2nd right off the bat. So that's a heavy hitter for the month of December for sure. And December closes are December is an interesting month because it's right before Christmas, so we tend to get a couple big games, but it's also the end of the big gaming season. So it's not the biggest games. Like our biggest game releases are September to November, right? And then December will have like a couple things, and then for the rest of the month, it's kind of just like everybody's getting their Christmas gift of what's come out from September to then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's rare to get a really big heavy hitter in December, I feel like. And right off the bat, December 2nd, we have the Callisto Protocol, which is coming to all platforms except for the Switch, because the Switch can't handle anything, even Pokemon. It's getting Need for Speed Unbound, which is December 2nd, which I don't know if you've seen the trailer for Need for Speed Unbound. I haven't played a Need for Speed game in a long time, and the art style they chose to use in this one looks awesome. It's very
I love the old Need for Speed games.
Yeah, bro, Need for Speed Underground was one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, and the soundtrack was awesome.
Dude, the soundtrack was amazing. Like, I remember taking my memory card out of my PlayStation, bringing it to a friend's house, and plugging it into his PlayStation so we can drag race our custom cars that we built, right? Like, the game was just nuts. So Need for Speed Unbound, I feel like it has a kind of underground kind of feeling. I don't know if they're going to be doing drag races. I really hope they do. But the art style is like almost cartoony and graffiti like. Is very cool. You should check out that trailer if you get a chance. That drops also December 2nd. And then we have Marvel's Midnight Suns, which they've been pushing in our faces for months now, if not years.
Pouring it down our throat.
Dude, everywhere you look, there's been Marvel Midnight Sun thing, which tends, when you have somebody trying this hard, that means they know the game is not going to do well. And they're just hoping somebody is buying it. And the fact that it has a Marvel tag to it, that they're going to buy it. I can't handle turn-based games anymore. That's such old gaming technology, in my opinion. Like the old school Final Fantasy games where it's like you know, sword attack, and then you have to wait for
get into them.
You wait for the 3 or 4 other characters on your team to attack, and then it's your turn again, and you're like, okay, sword attack. It's like,
yeah, I never was able to get into that shit.
Yeah, I can't. And apparently it's Marvel's Midnight Suns is a turn-based style game with playing cards involved. I don't know, bro.
With playing cards involved?
Yeah, it's like card-based. Like it's like, I don't know, Magic the Gathering type of thing, where it's like you have a card that drains like the magic of someone else's card or some shit, and that's kind of what I guess what Marvel Midnight Suns is going to be. It's like you take turns battling, but your character, like Iron Man, you could do a blaster attack for 10 points or some shit. I don't know. It's gonna be some weird ass.
Sounds
I'm exhausted trying to explain it to you. Like, I'm just
yeah, I feel bad for you.
I don't even want to, like, I'm just not like, they come out with these cool ass trailers, these cool ass cinematics. It's like, yeah, you get to be Daredevil and Spider-Man and Wolverine, and it's Midnight Suns, and it's all this cool shit, and it's like, all right, now wait your turn and do a blaster attack for 5 points. Like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
I'm just gonna sit here all day waiting.
Yeah, I'm good.
Fuck that.
That also comes out December 2nd, though, by the way. We got Swordship dropping December 5th, which is on all platforms. We have Impaler on PC only for December 6th. And if you don't know, I just kind of run through the list of what's coming out and the dates. And then if you want to jump in on something you heard about or you're excited about, or a funny name or whatever, just let me know. All right.
I'm looking at your list, and we've talked about everything I know about.
Yeah, agreed. So we have Knights of Honor 2 coming to PC December 6th. We have Kinseed on PC only, December 6th. Cuckoo's Lost Pets on PC, PS4, and Switch. It's interesting to come out on PC and not the Xbox. You don't see that often. Togs, I guess you would pronounce that as PC. That's all platforms. So yeah, December 7th. You have Zombie Cure Lab. Sorry, that's a Steam Early Access game on PC for December 7th. See, that one actually said Steam, so that would make sense why it wouldn't be on Xbox. The Rumblefish 2, all platforms, December 8th. Chained Echoes, all platforms, December 8th. Dragon Quest Treasures is a Switch game coming December 9th. Wavetail, all platforms, on December 12th. High on Life, that's a PC and Xbox only game. That is December 13th, so look for that on Game Pass. Infinite Guitars. That sounds kind of fun. Infinite Guitars.
I wonder what that's about.
I don't know.
I need a new Guitar Hero game. That's what I need.
Me too.
That's what that reminded me
I
of.
would love a new Guitar Hero game. I would absolutely love that. That's coming to PC, Xbox, and Switch, December 13th. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, all platforms, it looks like, coming December 13th. Formula Retro Racing World Tour. I'm assuming old school Formula Racing, which is all platforms except for PC, December 14th. And we have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition next gen upgrade. So this is The Witcher remade for the PS5, the Series X, and PC. That's coming December 14th. We have Blacktail coming December 15th on PC, PS5, and Xbox. We have AKA PC and Switch December 15th, and Sky Children of Light. That looks like a PS5 4 exclusive. That is coming, I think the date's cut off December 15th or 16th, possibly. That kind of ends, I guess, the list of what's to come for December, because then we kind of hit like the Christmas break after that. And nobody really releases anything during Christmas break because all the presents have already been paid for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just to kind of give you a brief, we still have The Last of Us Part 1 coming at some point in 2022, which we don't have much time left. So when is that dropping? That could be at any point in December, I guess. We have Cobra Kai 2 Dojo's Rising, which I didn't even know they had Cobra Kai video games at this point, and none alone a sequel coming out.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know what to say about it. I love the show. It's one of my favorite shows on TV right now, and I had zero knowledge of Cobra Kai coming out of a video game.
Maybe Chris will know about it.
I think he has mentioned it, but I don't know. That's supposed to come out at some point in 2022, but a lot of games got pushed back to 2023, and let me see here, just to kind of give you.
They pushed back Dead Island 2, which pissed me off.
Yeah, you want to speak on that? I'm assuming you were a huge fan of Dead Island 1.
I loved the first one. I thought it was a phenomenal fucking game, especially for its time.
Yeah.
Great game. Did you play it?
I didn't, so I don't really know much about it.
I'm not big into like zombie games or anything like that. Like I don't play Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah.
Was never my thing. This game, it was a good story. Graphics were great. You created your own weapons. Like it was a phenomenal story. And we've waited 8-9 years for a sequel to this game.
Damn.
And then they're going to push it back again.
That's crazy.
Like it's been so long that I forgot that they were making a sequel to it.
Yeah. Wow. That sucks, man. It's so disappointing, but at the same time, it's like I hope it means that they're gonna correct all the issues and you could just have a flawless release, or as close to a flawless release. But it is frustrating. But just a quick peek of what's coming in 2023. Obviously, we have the big one for all of us that are comic fans, and sadly not for the Xbox homies, but the PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man 2 is dropping, and eventually it will be on PC, and then you can everybody can kind of pick it up. But this is by far one of my most anticipated games of the year, and we'll kind of get into this more next month. But Spider-Man 2, I cannot wait. Have you played the Spider-Man game yet on PC?
I haven't got a chance to.
I highly recommend it, man. And now that you have the chance to play it, 100%. And I think Miles Morales just came out also, maybe like a day or two ago. So you have both games now on PC. I highly recommend you hop on them.
Which NVIDIA actually made me update my drivers, and it's promoting the next Spider-Man game.
Yeah, because I think it just came out. So you definitely have to play the Spider-Man Peter Parker one first, because that leads into Miles Morales if you're planning on playing both. So I would do it in that order for sure.
If I can ever get away from multiplayer games, I will.
That's the problem. Like, I want to jump back on God of War, but in my mind, I'm like, damn, I need to drop in the Warzone soon. Like, that's all I want to do right now.
I gotta do that. I'm fucking addicted to it.
Yeah, this is what multiplayer does, man. You squad up with the homies and dive in. But yeah, so you could see, like, you got new Kirby, you got possibly the Wolverine game, at least getting a picture or a trailer of what it's going to be. The new Spider-Man, you have Dead Island 2, Forspoken. They're like, there's so much coming out in 2023 that we got some bangers ahead of us to look forward to. So I can't wait. But that's going to do it for episode 17. I want to thank Spartacris for joining me. I know he dipped out on us early, but thank you, Spartacris. And One Shot, I appreciate you rocking with me for the whole episode. Thank you.
Hey, and thanks for having me.
How did you enjoy your MVP experience?
Hey, I enjoy it. I get time to just sit there and bullshit. I mean, I did have some technical fucking difficulties.
Yeah,
but
join the club, man.
Thank God I have 2 internet sources now.
Nice.
One's really shitty and one's really good, and the one that was really good stopped working, so I just went to my backup.
There you go. Well, at least you had it back up. That's a plus.
And the backup's only $10 a month, so
that's a win. Bad. That's a win. That's you dropping Hulu, because who the hell cares? Getting better,
right?
Getting different internet. So yeah, that's episode 17, and I appreciate everybody listening on the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube or listening on Podbean, we appreciate it. Again, thank you very, very much for 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. This isn't the end, it's only the beginning. We're just going to keep grinding and pushing out content to you, so strap in and enjoy the ride, because the more that we pump out, the better it's going to get. And if you could if you go back to our channel honestly and look, our beginning videos compared to what we're producing right now is night and day as far as quality and comfortability. And it's just
I've gone through like 7 different setups to get to where I'm at now.
Yeah, it's wild. The ride we've been on for this past year and a half, it has been nuts. But again, thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, One Shot, for joining me. Thank you, Spartacris, for joining us for a brief, for half the show, I think it was. And thanks everyone for listening and supporting us for all this time and jumping in the conversation, whether it's in the comments or live or wherever it may be. So thank you. And that is going to do it. The next episode of MVP will be probably, let me pull out the calendar, not next weekend. Next weekend is Thanksgiving, so I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. One Shot, hope you and the fam have a happy Thanksgiving. And the next episode you'll hear from me on MVP will probably be the weekend of the 3rd, be December 3rd, and we'll kind of go over what's been happening in the gaming and entertainment news since from now till then, and what we thought of the Guardians of the Galaxy special, And as always, we'll break down all the specials and entertainment news on the theater rooms every Tuesday at 8:30, where you'll have all of us, some of us, only Chris some days. There's always a mixture of the GGEN crew for Tuesday, but the show must go on, so it'll be there no matter what happens. So join us every 8:30 on Tuesday, and yeah, that'll do it. Appreciate you all. See you next time.